Well, good morning, everyone. It is 10:09 in the morning here on a Sunday. I'm meteorologist Lindsey Monroe and talked about some active weather that we could potentially see for today earlier this morning. So we wanted to come to you live here on WTHR Plus to keep you updated on what we've got going on. This is the first warning that we have received here in central Indiana so far today. Do believe this will potentially be the trend as we get into the rest of the morning and then into the afternoon especially. But real quick, wanted to recap you on what we're tracking right now. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that was issued for Tippecanoe County until 10:30 this morning, so for another 20 minutes. What I've got highlighted here is the storm wind prediction based off of radar, and that's why this storm moving throughout Tippecanoe County was issued a warning because of the potential of some strong wind gusts within that. So I wanted to dive in a little deeper. Some of these darker, or I should say these brighter colors, these teals and things like that, that's where we're monitoring some very strong wind gusts, and the Weather Service issuing this warning due to some elevated wind gusts that they were seeing kind of just above the surface here with this thunderstorm of an excess of 55 to 60 miles per hour. Now, typically that severe threshold would be anything 58 miles per hour or greater. So out of caution, based on what they were seeing, the warning was issued for these wind gusts. So this is where this is located. Still looks like it is maintaining some of those very strong gusts within that thunderstorm, perhaps just above the surface. Do these reach the surface? That's the question. That means, will they perhaps do any damage as far as bringing down any branches, perhaps power lines, power poles, creating some isolated power outages? That's yet to be seen, but we're still kind of monitoring that stretch just to the south of Lafayette. Now, this is getting ready to cross over the I-65 corridor. So I've got a traffic camera that's pulled up along I-65. Wanted to show you what this looks like here. So this is I-65. I believe this is near 25. Let me double check the location. Where this is just to the north of the city of Lafayette. Yeah, so this is our camera at I-65 and State Road 26, actually. So State Road 26, so that's just on the near northeast side of town there in Lafayette. But you can see really packing a punch. We've had torrential rainfall, and that's kind of been the trend here whenever we get these thunderstorms, especially this time of year and the type of setup that we've had here in central Indiana. It's been mainly the heavy rain leading to localized flooding. So rainfall rates of an upwards of nearly 3 inches per hour coming down within some of these heaviest thunderstorms. And that does quickly lead to ponding on our roads, on the sides of roads, could lead to some localized flooding, as well as in those low-lying and flood-prone areas. Potentially could see that with just how heavy the rain is coming down. So we'll continue to monitor this traffic camera here as this main storm is now moving through Lafayette as we speak. We'll go back to the radar. I want to show you just kind of the bigger setup here and kind of what we're looking at for today. So we'll flip the radar back on and then we'll go back to the wind gusts as well. But taking a step out, just kind of looking at the bigger picture, we have pretty significant lightning involved with this as well. So there's our lightning tracker. Nearly 200 strikes within this last radar scan, mainly on the north side of Lafayette. And then this line is actually starting to extend a little farther to the south, now into southern portions of Tippecanoe County. So they just looks like they condensed the warning, which is anticipated because this is mainly again issued just because of that small little burst of very strong wind gusts that they were seeing within that particular thunderstorm. Now it is moving off to the east. It's tracking at about 45 miles per hour to the east. So that will be potentially moving into places like Frankfort and Flora if it does hold together. But will it stay at that strength to produce wind gusts that would be of severe limits? Well, that's yet to be seen. So let's dive. I'm going to take the lightning off here so it's just easier to see the radar. We'll flip that off for now. And then we'll just kind of look at what's going on here. So again, this is the latest from the National Weather Service here as we are setting up to have what's going to probably be a pretty busy day storm-wise. Don't think everyone gets a severe storm, but there will be at times, similar to what's going on here just to the north of Dayton, Indiana. There will be at times storms that do potentially get into that severe threshold. Now the primary threats for today, damaging wind gusts. But with the type of setup that we've got going on, the potential is there that we could at times see some rotating storms embedded within these storm complexes we're expecting to set up today. And potentially we could get some large hail, but the primary threat will be damaging wind gusts as well as some very heavy rain that could lead to some areas of localized flooding. This warning is going to be ongoing until 10:30. We'll check in with the Weather Service to see if they plan on extending this, but this was kind of the first warning of the day. Again, they saw some elevated, very strong wind gusts just above the surface, and they went ahead and issued that severe thunderstorm warning out of precaution in case any of those very strong winds were actually making contact with the ground and could potentially be doing some damage. So let's zoom in a little closer to the Dayton area now. So this is going to be just down that 65 corridor. We'll zoom in a little closer to where we're seeing some of the peak strongest wind gusts. I'll take the warning information off for now just to kind of clear the screen out. And again, it's where you're seeing some of these brighter teal colors. That's the spots where the radar is picking up on some of the stronger wind gusts. So just kind of looking throughout this little stretch here, kind of right on the west side of I-65. So that's, again, Dayton right there. These are all estimated wind speeds within the storm based on radar. So those are pretty impressive numbers, but they would be just shy of what we would consider severe. Again, that threshold's kind of 58 mile per hour gusts or higher, would potentially put that at severe limit. So based on some of these latest numbers, again, this is just to the north of North Crane, already kind of moving to the east of Tecumseh. So clear of that area. But again, right here, basically crossing over I-65 and then continuing to track east. That's going to be the zone that we're going to watch out for. Some of these strong wind gusts that could, again, mix down to the surface, do a little damage, bring some tree branches down perhaps. Again, power lines could be impacted by that as well. I wanted to flip back over to our camera because I have a couple more in this zone. So this is at State Road 43, I-65. Wanted to monitor just kind of down this corridor here of 65 and see if we have any cameras that could potentially see what's going on where those strongest wind gusts are. This is going to be at 38 and 65 in the Dayton area. So if this loads, okay, so this is basically where the core of the storm is located right now. This, again, the intersection of State Road 38 and I-65. So this is at that junction. You would get off of 65 to go to the Dayton, Indiana area. Again, this is kind of the worst of it. Got a lot of flashers going. The rainfall rates, again, within these thunderstorms, we've got a lot of excess moisture in the atmosphere. We call that precipitable water. It's all of this extra moisture that these storm clouds basically gather, and it causes them to strengthen, and then they've got so much extra liquid it just creates these torrential downpours. So if you're traveling down the road, again, this is 65. I mean, you get into situations where it almost becomes near whiteout conditions. You just can't see much farther in front of you because the rain is falling at such a rate, just completely wipes away your visibility. So this is the core of the storm that is currently warned, moving through Tippecanoe County. Time now is 10:18. So we're going to keep with you here. Keep you updated on what's rolling through because I think this is kind of just the beginning of what's going to shape up to be a pretty active day. So you see that camera there, that's kind of the view that we'll be watching out for. This is the camera just north of there, Lafayette area, I-65. So I believe the bulk of that storm, the worst of it's kind of already moved through the Lafayette area now. It's going to continue to track off to the east. Again, it's moving at about 45 miles per hour. Take a step out. That camera, by the way, was located right here, the one that I was showing you. So if we put the radar on, you can kind of see the reflectivity and where the heavy pockets of rain within this thunderstorm are. Pretty impressive rainfall rates here. Anytime you see the reds and then you get into these purples, I mean, that could nearly be 3 inches of rain per hour. So those are those blinding kind of shields of rain that come down. So we'll watch that as that actually is starting to move east into perhaps the Mulberry area. Will they continue to keep this warned? We'll watch that. We'll see what the chat is, if they've gotten any actual reports from the Lafayette area. The last I had seen, they had not gotten any actual ground reports of those very strong winds doing any damage, or perhaps any of the observation sites around the campus of Purdue picking up on any of those very strong wind gusts. It's basically just been radar indicated. So we'll see if they continue with this, but we have been kind of watching this leading edge here, because not only is there a damaging wind threat, but again, we also have that potential of some very heavy rainfall leading to some localized flooding. We have a very saturated ground across central Indiana. We've had multiple rounds of rain already, and multiple more rounds of heavy rain possible through the course of the day today and then again tomorrow. So because of that, all of this heavy rain that comes down at such a clip, water really doesn't have anywhere to go, so it's going to start to pile up, which is the concern for that flash flooding threat. In fact, so much so that the Weather Service actually put out, let me see the latest information on this. This is going to be the flood alert that's going to go into effect starting at 1 o'clock today, and it's for all of central Indiana. This flood alert, it's basically a flash flood watch. It's going to run all the way through Monday evening, because we are anticipating a pretty significant amount of rainfall over the next 24 to 36 hours. Rainfall potentially that could climb to in upwards of 3 inches in addition to what we've already received. So this is kind of just an area-wide general outlook for how much rain we could see. Of course, you get underneath one of these very heavy thunderstorms, one of these strong storms that's bringing in that intense rainfall. And I think we could easily see some spots in excess of 3+ inches between now and Monday evening, when this whole pattern starts to quiet down. Real quick, before we get back to that ongoing warning, I did just kind of want to walk you through the latest future track. So this is going to be the high resolution weather model that helps us kind of model what's going to go on with this storm complex as it's moving out of Illinois. It's basically riding along this boundary. And over the next few hours, we're going to continue to see these storms kind of pop up and develop. This takes us through 5 o'clock today, but that boundary is going to be stalled out just to our south. So whenever we get these storms that pop up, perhaps bring in that heavy rainfall, perhaps they don't reach severe limits, but what they'll do is kind of cool the air around it, and that's going to create these little ripples in the atmosphere today. And at any point, just given the setup that we've got today with that boundary near us, any point, some of those what we call outflow boundaries could prompt or trigger more storms to develop. So I do think that will be a possibility today. So that's why we're kind of watching the radar into the evening tonight. This is about 7 p.m. Still potentially could get some isolated strong storms here. This takes us through 10 o'clock, and you'll notice the primary threat kind of shifts just south of the I-70 corridor. Might see an isolated stronger storm still through 10 o'clock, but a lot of this is going to ride closer to where that boundary stalls out later today in the Ohio River Valley. So it's basically an all-day event. It's not going to storm for everybody all day today, but how this is all set up that at any given point across central Indiana, it's so unstable that we could get those storms to pop up and initiate. So that's kind of the bigger picture, setup picture for today. But this is kind of just getting things started for us. We were watching this storm cluster all the way in northern Illinois this morning when we were on the air with you at about 6 o'clock this morning. And this is what's left of it. And it's still continuing to become a little more widespread. So I think there will be parts embedded within this that could weaken. But as it moves into a little bit more potent atmospheric conditions, that could fuel more storm development. So we'll watch what's currently ongoing, but also just know how the day unfolds today that there will be new storms that develop. It's not all just kind of what's already on radar. It's what could develop over the course of the next several hours as well. So here's the recap, what we've got going on right now, why we are on WTHR Plus. Of course, we're going to have team coverage with you all day today, just given the fact that we could see warnings, given the fact that we have seen so much heavy rainfall, flooding concerns. We just want you to be prepared. We also have golf on WTHR channel 13. So we're on all of our digital products, and then of course Plus with you, kind of getting you updated here what's going on across multiple platforms. So this is what we've got. This is it's 10:24 right now. We've got the severe thunderstorm warning that was issued right at the 10 o'clock hour for most of Tippecanoe County. And this is moving off to the east now. The warning is set to expire within the next 6 minutes or so. And it does look like it's weakened a little bit. Also kind of watching the structure of this. And the fact that it looks like it's starting to push out kind of the leading edge of that complex could still see some of those stronger wind gusts kind of on the very leading edge of that. I want to actually put this into motion over the past, let's do 45 minutes and just kind of show you the general track that this has been on. So we'll go back right before the warning was issued. This is about 9:55. There goes the warning. Tracked across Lafayette. Pretty significant wind associated with it then. And then as far as where we sit right now, this is moving into the Frankfurt area. Actually do a little bit of an adjustment on this camera shot here so you can see. A little bit better, but we're the most intense, potent part of this. So it looks like the leading edge here is what I would be most concerned with. In between Mulberry and Frankfurt, it's actually kind of out of the warning box. So I anticipate this warning getting expired. And let me real quick check in with the Weather Service. We've got this live chat where we can see if they're going to potentially extend this warning based on what they're seeing on radar. And let me get the latest information from them here. Let's see here. They're watching the storm as it kind of moves out of Tippecanoe County and into Montgomery County, but there haven't been any significant reports that would confirm that those strong winds the radar's picking up on are actually mixing down to the surface. So it does look like they will not, at least at this point, extend the warning as it makes its way into the Frankfurt area, kind of just north of Crawfordsville. But I'm going to look at the southern extent of this. There could potentially be some strengthening going on just kind of south of this area. Okay, so they were talking about Crawfordsville, so they're kind of watching this part of the storm going down 231 in between Linden and Crawfordsville, moving out of Waynetown. So basically right over 231 right now. They were watching for any strengthening of any wind gusts within that part of the storm. So I could potentially see if that's the case that they would maybe extend the warning south more so than east. So we'll watch that. They did say that it is kind of weakening the past couple of radar scans. So we can flip back over to our radar and look at what some of these wind gusts are doing within this storm cell right here. So again, this is how it's a radar tool that we utilize in order to see what the wind gusts are doing. So moving right over top of Mulberry right now, kind of where we're seeing some of the more potent wind gusts on radar at least. We'll shut off the warning information, kind of toggle on what some of these wind gusts are doing. So still 49 miles per hour, shy of 50. All of these making their way into the Mulberry-Hamilton area are below severe limit. So we would need at least, again, 58, 60 mile per hour wind gusts for this to potentially do some damage. I mean, we could still get some minor tree branches down, don't get me wrong. I mean, a 45, 50 mile per hour wind gust is a very strong wind gust that could still do some very minor damage, but that will likely not be enough in order to continue on with the ongoing severe thunderstorm warning. So it looks like that has cleared the Lafayette area now. Again, we're kind of watching these radar scans as this right here, this area basically sitting on top of Mulberry as we speak, moves closer to the 421 corridor. So next that would be tracking just to the south of Rossville, just to the north of Wesley Manor, just to the north of the Frankfurt proper. So again, we'll have to see if they issue an ongoing warning here, but you can distinctively see using our wind tracker, our velocity data here on radar, that there's a defined line here where the wind really does kick up. So those are the types of boundaries that we look out for in order to see if these storms are going to be strengthening or not, and if they would require additional warnings. Moving through the Darlington area, I actually want to look at that one a little bit more in depth because those are some brighter returns and just see kind of what the winds are doing within that thunderstorm. This is going to be the estimator here. So this one's actually in small parts, perhaps strengthening a little bit. 56 mile per hour wind gusts. We are getting pretty close to that threshold where they would potentially issue a warning. So that's moving into the Darlington area, tracking east. So let's just east of here, Thorntown, just to the south of Colfax. Might see a warning get issued there, but We'll go ahead and turn our warning layers just in case that we do see a new one pop up. But as of right now, we are approaching a 10:30, right? And so that should expire here momentarily. That's the only warning still at this point. And again, this is not going to be one of those days where we have widespread multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. Perhaps even if we get a little bit of weak rotation, might see a couple tornado warnings today, just given the atmospheric setup. That can't be ruled out. But it's something that we might just see individual parts of a larger storm complex reach those severe limits. So they would put out at any given time these smaller little alerts within the bigger picture here. So let's just quickly walk through what we can anticipate for the rest of the day today. We'll go back and kind of monitor this. This is going to be the future forecast. This is boundary stalls to our south. You can see that we've got potentially, as we get you into the 2-3 o'clock hour today, there will be some more development kind of close to where that stalled boundary is in southern Indiana. And again, at any point, any of those storms could potentially reach severe limits. Kind of marching through the Indianapolis metro. Again, don't take these individual blobs on radar for exact preciseness where it's going to set up. They could really be anywhere within central Indiana, but it's just a sign that this is showing us that they do still anticipate some of these individual pockets, these storm cells that will develop along this broader area that could reach severe limits. So that's going to be the trend. Again, it's going to be a busy afternoon. Rob's going to be in with you all the way through the evening tonight. Sean is on standby. This takes us through 7 o'clock. And then even into the deeper evening hours tonight, things are still going to be pretty active here, especially closer to that boundary in southern Indiana. And this is through 10 o'clock. Potentially, we could still see a few warnings all the way through as late as about midnight. Now, as we get into the overnight hours, this is about 1 o'clock in the morning, I do anticipate that severe threat coming to an end, and then still looking at some storm chances for tomorrow, but this is probably going to be the better chance of severe weather today as compared to tomorrow. Do want to take you back to some of our cameras that we were watching. So this is the one that I had pulled up near Dayton, Indiana. This is State Road 38 at I-65. Just a few moments ago, I mean, you couldn't even see the road. It was raining so heavily as that storm moved through. So we've got our eyes on a couple different traffic cameras here, specifically up near Tippecanoe County, but this is now making its way down the 65 corridor just to the north of Crawfordsville. Those are our wind gusts that we were looking at. This is, I'll flip it back over to our normal radar. Even put the lightning tracker back on just to see if this is weakened at all. And it really does look like it has. So the leading edge of that now making its way into Frankfort, and they did drop that severe thunderstorm warning. So as of right now, no active watches or warnings locally here in central or really northern Indiana. But some of these storms certainly are going to pack a punch. And as we saw at any given time, if they do start to see some of these wind gusts reaching severe limits and they're going to put out the severe thunderstorm warning, we'll continue to track that. So that's moving through Frankfort right now, going to be moving east at about 45 miles per hour. So on deck, we're looking at Kipton, Sharpsville, Tipton, even down towards Sheridan and Lebanon, so portions of Boone County as that makes its way across Montgomery County right now. We'll leave you with this. I'll flip the camera down. I do believe we have a NDOT camera at, let's see here. I believe this is at I-65 at the Frankfort exit, which would be 28. So let's just kind of see what that looks like if we could pull that up. This is going to be that camera, State Road 28, I-65. So this is just kind of coming down that 65 corridor to the southeast of the Lafayette area, kind of the peak of the storm moving over this corridor right now. So again, moving through portions of Montgomery County, in between Crawfordsville, Frankfort, and then eventually going to be into Boone County. But as of right now, all of the local warnings have been allowed to expire. So we'll continue to monitor what's out there right now. And really, this is the extent of storm coverage as of right now. It's all in northern Indiana. Again, all of it kind of north of here. And then if I kind of backtrack, you can see the general motion that this is moving. So this, I mean, that was pretty significant when you look at how much lightning there was when that warning was issued, and then just the fact that it does look like it's trending downward as far as its intensity goes. So we'll continue to watch these for you. We're going to be in the Weather Center keeping you updated on WTHR Plus as well as on all of our digital products while we've got golf on Channel 13. But we'll leave you with this at 10:34 in the morning. And of course, we'll be back on WTHR Plus if any new warnings do get issued.